Welcome to VA Claims Confidential. I'm Mr. X. I'm the guy behind the guy, giving you all the information you want to know, giving you all the information you need to know about the VA claims process. Alright, the objective today is how to make your VA claim as quick and successful as possible on the first attempt. No messing around here. So let's understand the process. You need to identify what type of claim you're going to be making. Alright, are you going to be making a claim of service connection seeking disability compensation, pension, health care, education, the different types of claims? Are you going to be making a direct claim for service connection? Is going to be secondary to an already service-connected condition? Are you filing for an increase of an already service-connected condition? Are you filing for an aggravation of a condition that pre-existed service? Let's say like pes or flap feet. Did it exist prior to service and worsened due to service? Are you filing service connection for a presumptive condition, whether that's exposure in service in Vietnam or service in Thailand or service in Camp Lejeune? Are you filing for presumptive service based on service in Southwest Asia? Or are you filing an appeal or supplemental claim, something that was previously denied, and you're going to be submitting new evidence? So depending on what type of claim you're going to be submitting will determine what you need to submit with your claim to make it as successful as possible on the first attempt here. So depending on what type of claim you filed will depend on what type of evidence you should review or submit. So your service records, if you're filing a claim on a direct basis, you want to look through your service records, determine what you were seen or treated for in service, and file a claim for those issues. You can obtain lay statements or create your own, meaning you submit your own written statement regarding the disability that you have, regarding the symptoms that you experienced, the treatment that you got in service. Submit recent medical records or evidence, or inform VA where you sought treatment most recently for whatever condition you're applying for. You can also submit buddy statements from other service members, battle buddies, individuals who knew you while in service, and who can provide a statement to further substantiate your claim. You can also submit nexus letters or private opinions. Now, I normally wouldn't recommend this, not that I have anything against nexus letters or private opinions, but generally you have to pay money out of pocket for them, and getting service connected as a result of that private opinion or nexus letter is not guaranteed. And since it's not guaranteed, it wouldn't be the first thing I recommend, but it may help you in being granted service connection for whatever condition you're applying for. Be specific with your claim. Okay, there's two theories of thought here. Okay, first is you apply for everything under the sun, then let VA determine what you are seen in service for or what can be granted service connection for. While that is a method that may work, the success rate to get service connected on your first attempt is probably lower than if you are very specific with your claim. Okay, so and this is my suggestion, is be specific. When you were, date of onset, when you were seen in service, what happened in service? Specific details. I was seen in service on January 2nd, 2002 for XYZ condition. How this condition occurred. Was it due to service in Southwest Asia? Did you have a fall and, break your ankle, hit your head? Did you have a cut while in service? What your current symptoms are? Are you being seen by a doctor or at the VA clinic? Talk about that. And then also, depending on if you're filing for an increased claim, how is your service-connected condition? How has it worsened? Okay. For example, in my range of motion on my left knee disability has worsened as a result. But ultimately, to have greater success on your first attempt, be absolutely specific with what you are claiming how it happened, your symptoms. Be upfront and honest and open about it. That's my suggestion. Given the reasons, I say be specific about your claim. Kind of an easy example. Let's say you didn't file a claim for a low back condition that you experienced while in service. Back pain, you hurt your back. Okay, so if you're filing a claim, is it best to just claim low back condition? Or should you list separately as separate conditions as, we'll say, low back strain, low back degenerative arthritis, low back spinal stenosis, and go down the list of all these things. Now, what I suggest is you can just list low back condition and be covered, and let me explain to you why. This part in the manual talk about recognizing issues and claims when preparing a rating decision. These are things that VA raters have to consider. Okay? I'm going to read it here. When preparing a rating decision, the decision maker must recognize, develop, clarify, and/or decide all issues and claims, whether they expressly claimed meaning you listed it as a condition on your claim. For example, if you claimed low back condition, if it's within the scope of an expressly claimed issue, such as a complication or residual of a claimed condition or unclaimed subordinate issues and ancillary benefits. For example, is it necessary to claim radiculopathy as associated with your back? Okay. No, you do not have to claim it because it's service-connected for your low back condition. Radiculopathy is considered within the scope of the evaluation of your lower back. So if you're diagnosed with radiculopathy, the VA decision maker is going to grant service connection. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't submit a claim for radiculopathy, but at the same time, it's not absolutely necessary to include that in your claim for your low back condition because the VA rater per the manual has to address it if it is diagnosed and within the scope of the issue. At this point, you may be saying, Mr. X, what is the definition of what's within the scope of the condition? Well, here it is. VA, the manual, explains it to the raters. This is the definition and example of issues within the scope. An issue within scope is one that is not explicitly identified by the claimant on one of the forms listed in that manual reference, but is identified upon review in the claims folder during the decision-making process for an expressly claimed issue. Going back to the back example, if you didn't claim radiculopathy but you were diagnosed with it and service connection was granted for your low back condition, then the radiculopathy will be granted because it is within the scope of the expressly claimed issue. Continuing on, an issue within the scope arises based on the sympathetic reading of a claimant's statements and/or the evidence of record. It encompasses such things as entitlement to an ancillary benefit that arises as a result of the adjudication decision, and/or additional benefits for complications or residuals of an expressly claimed issue. At this point, you may be asking yourself, Mr. X, what's an ancillary benefit? Well, if you're granted service connection for, let's say, erectile dysfunction, and the ancillary benefit associated with erectile dysfunction would be special monthly compensation based on the loss of use of the creative organ, or SMCK. All right? That is an ancillary benefit. Additional other ancillary benefits that could arise would be different levels of specially monthly compensation or special adaptive housing or things of that nature. Continuing on from that same manual reference, couple notes here to highlight. 1. VA does not expect, nor does it the law require, claimants such you to articulate with medical precision the disabilities for which compensation is sought. Veterans regularly claim disability compensation for a specific clinical entity and ultimately establish service connection for a similar but clinically distinct condition. So, for example, let's go to radiculopathy. Let's say you file a claim for sciatic radiculopathy, but if femoral radiculopathy is diagnosed, then that is what you'll be service connected for, not the sciatic. As long as it's within the same general area or consensus, then the VA rater should identify that and grant service connection if it is within the scope of the primary condition. Continuing on, when an individual expressly claims a specific disability and is later diagnosed with a different but potentially related condition, if a sympathetic reading of the claim shows that the diagnosed condition is encompassed by the claim, VA must address the claim as including the diagnosed condition. So, exactly as I just gave in my example, if it's similar like radiculopathy and femoral versus sciatic, then the VA rater must address the claim to include the diagnosed condition of femoral radiculopathy. And if service connection was granted for your low back, then unless the examiner said that the femoral radiculopathy was not due to your low back condition, because the examiner could then continue on and say, hey, it's really due to this other injury and not the low back condition, then service connection wouldn't be granted. But the likelihood that that happens is extremely low. That would just be an example of when it could be related, or when the examiner shows that it's not. Another thing to make your claim faster and more successful as possible, file your claim online. Maybe asking yourself, why? Mr. X, it's like, well, because online's quicker. If it's only quicker by a couple days, it's still quicker. It may take VA a few months to decide your claim, up to, let's say, a year. But it's quicker than a year and 2 days, or however you filed your claim. I get it. Not everyone has access to a computer and know what website to go to, but go to VA website. They'll direct you on how to file a claim. It's faster, it's quicker, it's easier. That's my recommendation. Make sure your claim is fully developed. Once again, Mr. X, what does that mean? Means that your claim is ready to rate essentially based on all the evidence that you're submitting with your file. Okay, so if you're seen by your private health care provider for your left knee condition or low back condition, then submit those records as part of your claim. Okay, you can put it as part of your claim and have VA go out and request those files. That is one option, but it does take additional time. It may take an additional day or two or week or two. So if you were, let's say, for example, being seen on a Tuesday for your left knee condition with your private health care provider, then I would request those files while you're there, have them send them to you, email them to you, or whatever the best way is to obtain them, and submit it as part of your claim online. That way VA has all that evidence up front and quicker, which will speed up your claim. That doesn't mean it'll get decided quicker, because that may take a month or two or longer. But if your claim is fully developed, if all the evidence is there, it will streamline the process. It will make it quicker. And if those medical evidence or medical records that you submit are more specific, then it will help to ensure that all the evidence is up front. It can only help you. Be prepared for delays. It's going to happen. But if you forget to submit something, don't wait. Submit it now. All right? So delays are going to happen, whether that's due to you, due to weather, due to exam problems, due to the evidence submitted. Just plan for it, okay? So if you submit a claim and you forget to submit the evidence, don't wait till the VA asks you for that evidence. Or if it's stress or verification information on a mental health claim, don't wait. Just submit it, because it will make your claim faster. Be honest and accurate, okay? It's crucial to provide truthful information throughout the entire process, okay? Attempting to exaggerate or misrepresent your condition can only result in denials and delays, which means that you're not going to be as successful as you could be on the first attempt. All right? Be upfront, be honest, don't exaggerate or misrepresent, but do speak to all the symptoms associated with your disability. For example, if you're claimed low back condition and you have pain, talk about the pain. If that pain radiates and shoots down your legs, plural, then talk about that. Talk about the limited range of motion that you have due to this back injury. If you have flare-ups from time to time, once a week, then talk about how long that affects you for. I have flares for once a week that really limits my range of motion for 3 days at a time. Speak about all the symptoms related to your condition that you're applying for. Stay organized. Keep all your records of communication, letters, emails, documents, phone calls, all the stuff. Keep a separate file for it. I know in the moment that it's happening, it's kind of a pain to make sure that you keep all of that information in the same location, but it will help you throughout the process. If, for whatever reason, you're denied and you file a claim or an appeal, then you can submit all that additional evidence as part of your appeal. Plus, if you have to refer to something you've submitted, you know where to look, because it's all going to be in one spot. Go to that spot, keep all your information there. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it will help. The entire process, e.g. stay more organized. Additional information and consideration, okay? Be thorough, be organized, don't rush. Delays are going to happen, but be persistent. Okay, for whatever reason, the claim doesn't end up the way that you want to, and you get denied if your grant service connection, but it's for a lesser amount than you feel you deserve based on your symptoms and based on the VA rating schedule, then file a supplemental claim. Okay, it's all going to help you. But keep in mind, the more thorough and organized you are, the greater chances of success you will have. All right, delays are going to happen. Be persistent. In closing here, additional other considerations or conclusions. Be specific, upfront, honest, organized, submit everything if possible. Try to lay out all the information for the VA rater so that you can be as successful in your first attempt as possible. Okay? Please like, subscribe, leave a comment about what you thought or what you'd like us to address in the future. I'm Mr. X, and we'll see you next time.